The Edge of 17. So The Edge of 17 follows a girl named Nadine who is 17 years old. It is played by Hailee Steinfeld. And Nadine has always lived under the shadow of her older brother. He just happens to get a lot more friends, the mom seems to treat him better, and success overall just comes easy for him. That didn't seem to bother Nadine too much when in the second grade she meets her best friend Krista. Nadine and Krista seem to hit it off really well, and all the way from second grade to their junior year in high school they've been best friends. However, that friendship seems to get a little rocky after Krista decides to start hooking up with Nadine's older brother. That and a lot more teenage angst makes Nadine's 17th year of her life hard to live. That's all I'll pretty much say without giving you spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just going to tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with a rating system just like this one, let you know if you see it in the cinema, rent it, or maybe just avoid the film completely. And getting straight into it with no beating around the bush, I want to say this is going to be one of my personal favorites of the year. I know it might not end up for Oscar potential or on other big websites' top 10 films of the year, but this is one I really enjoyed. Starting off with the acting of the film, Hailee Steinfeld is amazing in this film, and it's surprising because I thought she was just going to play a generic teenager who had these problems, who had these issues, and we weren't going to give too much care about it. But no, Hailee Steinfeld did an amazing job with the character of Nadine. She was so likable, relatable, goofy, and hilarious. I mean it, Hailee Steinfeld's timing and comedic chops in this film are shown off pretty well. Not only Hailee Steinfeld, but Woody Harrelson, he's sprinkled in throughout the film, and he plays this asshole teacher who just says what's on his mind with no filter. I really enjoyed his character and the relationship we had with Nadine. Another big positive of the film is their relationship could have easily have gone the creepy route. Specifically in one scene when they're spending lunch together, it easily could have gone the wrong way. But this film knows exactly how to keep that relationship professional and still heartwarming. And another standout that I didn't see coming at all because he wasn't in much of the trailers was Hayden Zseto. Hayden Zseto played this dorky, awkward, but adorable to watch on screen kid named Erwin. Erwin has a mad crush on the character of Nadine, and his struggle throughout the film to get her to notice him is just fun to watch. Those three characters are what mainly stood out to me for the film, but every other actor and actress in this film did their part and were worth the screen time they were put on. From the brother to the mother to the best friend, all solid work. Aside from the acting, the story, a simple one at that, is just your friend starts sleeping with your brother and how do you deal with the aftermath of that. It's actually not complex at all, but the way it's fleshed out and told is really well done. They did a whole lot with it, also sprinkling in other teenage angst problems that you have at that age. I never found myself bored throughout this film. I was wanting to see what the character of Nadine was going to do when the situation hit her. Another great thing the film did is when you're the star of a coming of age story, usually everyone else in that film is out to get you and is hurting you in some way. But in fact, every character in this film has their own motivations and you see where they're coming from. Not one actor or actress in this film is bad just for the sake of being the villain in the film. Although some characters might end up hurting Nadine or causing a complex in her life, they didn't just do it for the sake of the story. They actually had a motivation behind it and you couldn't blame them for what they did. This film is also not a chick flick at all. Just because you have a female lead with some female problems does not make it a female-based movie. Because honestly, this film transcends gender stereotypes and is actually very relatable for the age group they're targeting. The film still tackles that relatable sense of youth, so do not think it's a chick flick at all, because it's not. Just above and beyond for the coming of age genre, which is surprising to say because anytime someone asks you, what's your favorite coming of age movie? Most of us will revert back to some John Hughes films like The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But honestly, now when someone asks me, this is going to be a go-to for me in best coming of age stories because it really is up there. Also, for you music heads out there, the soundtrack for this film is really well done, and while they do pay homage to some of the old classics, they put enough new music in there to make it its own. Plus, a score by Hans Zimmer is never a bad thing. But no film is perfect, and every film has its flaw, and the ones for this one are very nitpicky in my opinion. One negative I'm going to give the film is there is no true villain of the film. Like I said, there are characters that hurt or complicate Nadine's life, but their motivations behind it can't be blamed. You understand where they're coming from and why they're doing it. Also, a lot of times the problems that are happening could easily be solved by a reality check from Nadine. In all honesty, the true villain of the film is Nadine herself. And while that might be part of the film's plot and contribute to some of the compelling story, it's also hard for you to kind of root for her when she's the one causing her own problems. Also, the ending of the film, while it was cute and it did leave me happy, on my car ride home I was wondering, well, that's all well said and done, but is next week she gonna go back to being a depressed teenager who's making up these problems in her head? I just could have used a little more closure knowing that Nadine is gonna be well off and done into her 20s to face a lot more problems. And I'm not suggesting a sequel because I feel this film is perfectly contained in itself and I do not want to see a sequel for this film. This is a nice one-shot film and there's not really too much you can do if you make a sequel. That's honestly all the negatives I can find for this film. I really enjoyed this film a lot. Like I said, it's gonna be one of my personal favorites of the year. I honestly don't see how anybody can dislike this film film, you'll at least like it a little bit. There's no way you can hate this film. Please guys, go check it out. I know when it gets theatrically released, I'm gonna go check it out again, and when it gets released on DVD, I'm definitely gonna buy it. But as always guys, I'm Chris, and I leave you with the 3C Film Review. Take care.